Hi fellow travelers, Mark here with Wolters World, and today we're in Cordoba, Spain, and today we're going to talk about are the don'ts of coming to Spain. So you can definitely have a better time when you do come here. And I'm going to start with something that seems weird that I'm going to start at the beginning, but I think it's really important for you to know. And that is, don't say adios when you leave when you're in Spain. Because in Spain, you don't really use adios. I know we all learned adios in school, and you see it on commercials, adios, adios, adios. But here, no. You want to say hasta luego. Because here, hasta luego means until later, see you later, because you never know when hasta luego may be. It might be, oh, when I see you at the hotel breakfast the next day, or when I see you in the town sometime, or when you come back in 10 years' time and bring your family to enjoy Spain. Because hasta luego is the way you say it, and honestly, don't forget to say it when you're coming out of an elevator, because there's greetings are really important here, so hasta luego is the way to go, not adios, okay? Another don't I have for you is when you're coming to Spain, a lot of people think it's just, sun and heat all year round. Well, I gotta tell you that. Don't think Spain is like beaches and sun and heat and just so hot all year round. It's not. You come to Madrid in the wintertime, you need a winter coat. Like, it snows there. Like, go into a villa and you're like, why am I freezing my behind off? Because it's not always hot and sunny and beautiful when you're here. I mean, okay, it's always beautiful when you come to Spain, it's gorgeous, but the weather-wise, that's the thing I think people mess up, is they don't realize is coming to Spain at different times of the year, you're gonna have very different weather that you need to be prepared for, okay? So don't think it's just sunny beach warm weather all year round. I mean, don't get me wrong, you come to Sevilla or here in Cordoba in the summer and it's like 100 degrees, 38 degrees Celsius, you're like, I'm dying! But yeah, it's not always like that. Now another don't I have for you, this might be the most important safety don't I have when you come to Spain, is don't insult Spanish food or wine. Because the Spaniards, they're totally chill. I mean, you will love when the people are so nice, you have so much fun with them. But yeah, once you start insulting the food and the wine, even if their abuela, their grandma didn't make it, they'll take it as a personal affront that you're insulting somebody's abuela. So just know that if you're getting tired of tapas, you're getting tired of paella and all the other foods that you have here that are so wonderful, keep it to yourself, because they don't like that, okay? So if you don't want something, don't say no quiero, which means I don't want, because that's like saying, oh, I don't want it because it's not good enough. You might want to say something in the realm of like, I'm so full, I can't take anymore, I'm just too much for me. Like, they'll understand that, but saying you don't want or no thank you isn't enough, because they're like, wait, it's not good enough for you? It's not enough for you? Have some more, So be aware of that. And when you go out to eat, and you're not really going to complain about the food, because the food's nice here, it's quite good. I mean, we've enjoyed it. We've come here dozens of times to Spain. I can't say enough good things about tapas and the food here, but when you go out to eat, one thing I want to remind you is you don't really have to tip when you're here. Okay, if you're paying with your credit card, there will be no line to write a tip in. Now, I would recommend tipping some, but you only have to tip maybe 5%, max 10% when you're here. I mean, most people don't even tip. You just pay with your card and walk away. So don't forget to have some change, so you can leave some coins down, or a €5 bill down for a tip, because there's no way to leave a tip with a credit card, so be aware of that. And when people come to Spain, they kind of think that the only way to drink is really sangria. And I gotta say this, don't think sangria is the only thing you can drink when you come to Spain. It's just the most popular thing for tourists to drink when they come to Spain. And you'll see locals will drink it as well, but it kind of depends where you are, because there's so many other drinks you can have. If you're sitting out in the plaza, one of the squares, you'll notice a lot of the locals, they're knocking back the local beer. Maybe it's a Mahu or Cruz Campo or Moritz. If you're in Barcelona, there's lots of local beers they like to have, not the sangria. Or, a lot of people talk about Tinto de Verano is the only thing people drink. That's one of the things people drink. And Tinto de Verano is basically red wine and kind of like Sprite mixed together. That gives you an idea of the flavor. But there's other things. You can have Rebujito in Sevilla, where they have their sweet wine and mix it with the kind of lemonade kind of stuff, like the Sprite kind of stuff. So there's a lot of other adult beverages. Cava, the sparkling wine by Barcelona. You have tons and tons of great drinks to have here. So don't think it's just sangria. And I'll be honest with you, if your sangria comes with straws in it, because you're like in Mallorca or Menorca or the Canary Islands, yeah, that's probably a tourist trap, and they have way too much sugar in there and way too much bad wine. So expect a hangover the next morning. Now, another thing that might drive you crazy is when you think of the conspiracy theorists when they talk about Spain. And I gotta tell you this, don't believe the conspiracy theorists when they talk about the astronaut that's on the doorway of the Salamanca Cathedral. The astronaut was put there in the 1990s when they did a renovation of the Salamanca Cathedral, so they added some more fun stuff on there. So no ancient aliens, it isn't a sign that aliens helped build the Salamanca Cathedral. But you should say you're welcome, because this is one of those things I'm sure will show up in a lot of conspiracy theories things over the years. But actually, let's go back to some of the more like important don'ts as tourists. One thing I gotta tell you, don't expect to get like a full meal between 3 and 8 p.m. because a lot of the restaurants will actually close their kitchen from 3 until 8. Okay, so you can go for a late lunch, you know, like 1, 2, 3 o'clock lunch kind of stuff, but just know the kitchen closes and sometimes doesn't open up again until 8 o'clock at night. And I know in some cultures eating dinner is like at 5 or 6, because I know I've seen my dad a little upset. Why can't we have dinner at 5? I'm like, because the kitchens aren't open, okay? So do be aware of that and kind of plan your meal around it. But I gotta tell you this, don't think the tapas stop. So though the main plates may stop, the tapas, they go all day long. So you can get your croquetas and your manchego cheese and your Spanish hams and your patatas bravas. Oh my God, little fried potatoes with this like garlic aioli and this like spicy sauce on top. It's so good, but you can always have those, okay? So don't worry if you can't get the main dishes like the paellas and the presa iberica. Oh my gosh, the pork, the Iberian pork, oh so good. You can't always get those in the afternoons and early evenings, so just be aware of that and plan your time around that. And I think that's important because another thing I gotta tell you is don't be surprised if when you're coming back to your hotel after a long day and have had dinner and ready to go to bed, that you might see a grandma and her like 10-year-old grandkids going out to dinner, because they do eat dinner rather late here. And it's not like, oh, the restaurants open up at 8 o'clock and everyone goes to eat at 8. No, it's like the restaurants open at 8, people show up at 9, 9:30, 10 o'clock, and then they're eating. And that's one thing you have to realize is, yeah, don't be upset. Don't think like you're being made fun of or anything or judged, but maybe they'll look at you like you're, oh, you can't stay up to eat with the big boys. It's okay. My 10-year-old will go for you instead. So the small beers here is because it's so hot, it'll get warmed up. So they give you the small beers so it stays cold longer. So don't get upset if you get a caña small beer, okay? Another don't I have for you when you come to Spain is don't eat the oranges that you see on the trees on the side of the road. And I mean side of the road, I mean like we're here in town, okay? We're here in Granada for this part. And like they're right there and people will grab them and try to eat them, and the locals will tell you, don't do that. You get much better oranges. You go to the grocery store, even if those are free, they fall off the ground. You don't want to eat those, okay? Because they'll tell you, the cars drive by, they're gross, and you'll notice you bite into one. It's not as good as the normal oranges, so just be aware of that. So don't take the oranges from the side of the road, okay? Now, focusing on the specific food, I got a don't for the paella, and that is you don't eat paella in a place that isn't specialized in paella. And you'll know it's a specialized place because usually paella places don't serve paella at dinner. Paella is more of a lunchtime kind of thing because it takes so long to prepare, so it's not really economical time-wise for them to do it in the evening. So a lot of it, you know, paella is more of a lunch, a big lunch kind of thing. So you want to do that. And paella places will have it that's like minimum 2 people to order it, because if they have individual paellas, they most likely have a board outside that has, oh, paella mixta, paella, like seafood paella, mixed paella with meat and seafood, meat paella, arroz negra, fideo, like with the noodles instead. They'll have it all listed. Usually those places, they're already pre-prepared, they're just heating them up, so it's not as special. You might not get that crispy rice that you really love with paella. You might not have that, so just be aware of that when you're looking for your paella. Now, another great treat you're gonna wanna have when you're here in Spain is churros con chocolate. If you're not sure what churros is, imagine it's just like a long donut. Sometimes it's curved over, sometimes they make it in a wheel, but it's a long fried donut, and then they give you a cup of hot chocolate. And when I say it's hot chocolate, don't think like Swiss Miss, like, oh, I can drink it normally. No, this is like liquefied chocolate that really retains the heat. And like if you drink it right away, I mean, you'll burn your mouth. And since it's so thick, it stays. So when you're trying to wipe it off, it keeps burning. So be careful when you have your kids. But also the chocolate isn't for you to drink, it's for you to dip your churro in. So you want to do that and enjoy it. You can drink it at the end when it's cooled off, but that's one thing where I've seen some tourists really mess up with their chocolate etiquette when they have their churros. Now, one thing tourists know is breakfast is the most important meal of the day to get you through to have the energy to go explore. Like here in Cordoba, you're going to explore the different neighborhoods, see the Roman temple, go to the Mezquita when you're here, walk across the Roman bridge. You need that energy. But I got to tell you this, don't expect a big breakfast when you come to Spain. Breakfast is not a big deal here in Spain. That's why it's important when you're looking at your restaurant, see if they offer breakfast, because it's hard to find places that sell breakfast outside of like Barcelona and Madrid, okay? So do be aware of that, because you might be staying in Salamanca and you're in an Airbnb and there's nowhere to get any breakfast food. You're like, uh-oh, we've got a problem. I mean, you'll find some coffee and maybe a little pastry or something, but breakfast just isn't a big deal here. Oh, and to finish off my food don'ts, don't think tapas are always free. Sometimes you get drinks, they'll give you a tapa, like maybe it is some of the patatas bravas or croquettes or something, they may give it to you for free. But in general, you know, just know you're probably gonna order the tapas. And so sometimes if it's free, it's great, but don't always expect to have free tapas. And if you do, it might just be some like mixed nuts, some mixed dried fruit, or some olives, potato chips. I mean, the potato chips are underrated good when you come here to Spain. Now, another don't I have for you is when you're coming here, don't forget to pre-book sites whenever you can, because some of the most important sites here in Spain, you can't get in if you wait last minute. You want to go to the Alhambra in Granada and see the palace and the gardens, those book out 2 or 3 weeks in advance, so you got to pre-book those. You want to go to the Sagrada Familia when you're in Barcelona, you've got to pre-book that. You want to go to the, you want to go to the Mezquita here in Cordoba and see that. Those are time tickets as well, and if you're here at a busy time, you might not get in, especially if you're going to be doing a day trip to places, so make sure, don't forget to pre-book those tickets for a lot of different things. Also, don't forget to pre-book your train tickets, because when you buy your train tickets early in Spain, they're cheaper, so you can save money that way. Also, if it's a popular train, they might sell out, and that's why you definitely get a seat if it's one of the AVE fast trains. Another don't I have for you when you come here to Spain is don't take out small amounts when you go to the ATM, because some have €7 fees to take out money, and yes, they'll offer you the conversion, which has a horrible exchange rate. Like, I just laughed at the exchange rate this place just offered me. Do not take the conversion when you do come here, and just remember, €7 per time withdrawing can add up, so make sure you take out more, probably more than you need at first, so you have that, so you don't have to take out money later, because otherwise you're just throwing away another €7 in fees. So one of the not fun things about going to Spain. Now, as a tourist that's watching this video, you probably speak some pretty good English, but your Spanish might not be so good, and I gotta tell you, don't expect a lot of English when you are here. You do need to know a little Spanish, because even just a little Spanish, gracias, which is thank you, por favor is please, quiero, which is I want, those will go a long way to help out when you are here. Hasta luego, see you later, sí is yes, no is no, because English language in the tourism parts, yes, you'll find it. There'll be like things will have English and French and Portuguese and Spanish. Like, you'll have a lot of those language on the descriptions. They do a great job with the tourism infrastructure here. But when you're talking to people, going to restaurants, it might be limited. So knowing a few words goes a long way. Now, another tip I have for you, and this is one thing I get reminded every time I come to Cordoba and Sevilla, is don't ever take anything from anyone. Even if they're like putting herbs in your hand, say, no, it's a gift. It's a gift to you. It's never a gift, whether it's a bracelet, herb, a ring, any of those scam kind of things. They're going to tell you it's free, it's a gift, but then they're going to want something back. They're going to want some money, and they can be quite forceful, so do be careful. Because I was in Sevilla the other day, and literally like the ladies were at people at their tables like, I will read your fortune, and now give me money, and here's this for good luck, and if you don't, I mean, it gets a little over the top. So if someone tries to give you something, just say, no gracias, which means no thank you, and keep walking. And they may come up to your kids as well, because I know our kids got a lot of stuff shoved in their hands when they were little. And they're like, your kid took it. I'm like, drop it on the floor. My son's like, no, I don't do that. I'm like, then put it on the side here. That's not for you. Don't do it. So I want to have a heads up for that. Also, don't forget about pickpockets and scams when you're in the bigger cities. I mean, it's not the Spanish that are robbing you, people. I mean, the Spanish are fantastic. They're going to make you have a great time when you're here. But do be aware, if you're on La Rambla in Barcelona, or walking in the Barrio Gótico or El Born neighborhoods, it's full and packed of tourists. Those are pickpocketing, like, perfect spots. I mean, anywhere you're going to go, if you're in places, where there's lots of tourists kind of smushed up together, anytime when it's hard to pay attention, that could be a spot for a pickpocket or a scam to happen. So do be aware of it, because we've had a lot of our travelers over the years mention about, the mustard scam, the bird poop scam, it's the scratch can scam. Oh, let me help you get this off your jacket, and then you put your backpack down and someone else steals your backpack. So you do want to be careful with that when you are here. Now, it's not everywhere, but it's just enough that if you're in very high tourist density places, just like anywhere in the world, don't forget to pay attention for that. My next note for you has to do with shopping, and that is don't expect to do any shopping on Sundays, because Sundays the shops are closed. You might be able to find a few tourist shops open to like get some souvenirs, but like actual shopping just does not happen on Sundays, so be aware of that. Plan around it, okay? Also, in some places they still have the siesta, so that 2 to 4 p.m. closing. It's not everywhere. It's not every day there's siestas and everybody does that. So don't think it's like laziness or whatever. It's just some places it's just so hot you need to close down, especially in smaller towns. So do be aware, if you're in Cadiz, there's probably going to be a siesta from 2 to 4. So make sure that's when you're going to relax at your hotel. Maybe you hit the beach when you're there, or you go eat, all right? So be aware of that. So, don't expect to shop all the time. Sundays and 2 to 4, and I usually find that in more smaller areas. Now, when you are in Spain, I also have to tell you this, if you haven't kind of guessed already, I want to tell you, don't get in a hurry. Okay, but don't think that the slowness of the service means bad service. It's just that things here, it's hot, you move a little bit slower, you take a little bit more time, you do chat with the people that order the drinks, you do chat with the people that order the food to talk to them after they paid the bill, to develop a relationship. Remember, hasta luego, until I see you later? Well, I want to develop that relationship so you come back. And therefore, the service sometimes takes a little bit longer. So if you're in a hurry, you need to plan ahead to be there early. Or if you don't have a lot of time for the food, maybe mention to them, hey, we're in a hurry, could you like make it más rápido, like faster? And they might say, hey, maybe instead of ordering the presa ibérico, the pork fillet, maybe you go for the salomejo, the cold soup, right? So you have these different things out there, but honestly, this is where I see a lot of tourists get upset. They're just like, why is everything taking so long? Look, dude, it's Spain. Relax. Calma. Relax, okay? It's just gonna take some time. Have some paciencia. Patience. Now, I know I said I wouldn't talk too much about the food anymore, but I did forget to mention one thing. Don't forget to ask about the menu of the day, because during the weekdays, the lunch menu, there's usually a special lunch menu that's at a discounted price, so you can get like really good local food at a better price than at dinner time, so maybe use that as your big meal. Another thing I love about coming to Spain is you don't have to worry about busting your budget when you come to Spain, because I find things here are very fairly priced. I'm not saying it's cheap, but it's not expensive. You feel like I'm paying a fair price for the fantastic food I get, the fantastic drinks I get, the tours I go on, the sites I go on, but also I feel like it's enough that the locals are making enough money to survive as well. Because sometimes you travel around the world and things are so cheap you feel bad about it, or things are so expensive you're like, I don't want to enjoy it. Spain has this perfect balance when it comes to prices, and I think that's one thing that's really nice as a traveler, because you can get from the low end cheap to the high end stuff, but there's something for everybody, which is great. Now, another don't I want to mention to you, that this is kind of a thing I put in all my videos, don't just stay in the main cities. Now, don't get me wrong, I love Madrid. I've taught Madrid and Barcelona. I'm here in Cordoba teaching a class too. I love the bigger cities. They're fantastic, but don't just stay in those. Do some of the day trips. If you're in Barcelona, go to Girona, go check that. Go to Tarragona and see the Roman ruins, right? I mean, I'm here in Cordoba and Sevilla's nearby, but we can go to Ronda and see the bridge there and just enjoy the white villages around Andalusia. Getting out, not just staying in the big cities, really help you understand Spanish culture more and get much more of a real vibe, a real feel of the country and of the culture, and that's what's wonderful. And when you're doing that, don't forget to check out the sites, because it's not just beaches and tapas when you come to Spain. You have historic things. There's Roman ruins, Tarragona. There's a Roman temple here in Cordoba. You want to see, when the Moors ran Spain, you can go to the Alhambra in Granada. You've got the Mezquita here, the beautiful mosque where they put the cathedral inside here in Cordoba. You have all these things. Santiago de Compostela, you can walk the Camino de Santiago and go up there and see the cathedral and all this stuff. I mean, it's just a beautiful country with so much to do, whether you're a kid going to Sevilla right down the road. You've got Isla Magica, you have stuff which is an amusement park. You have all these fantastic things for you to do around Spain. That's why it's really great for everybody to go. So don't feel that Spain isn't for everybody. It really is great for all people and all travelers that want to come, no matter what you like to do on vacation. And when you're going to those sites, you're going to those shops, you're going into places, I want to tell you this, don't get confused by the lines here. Now, it may look like just people are standing around, but believe me, the locals know who got there first, second, who they're behind. And if you're not sure, you might want to ask, hey, who's last? Who do I go behind? I just got in. They'll let you know, soy el último, I'm the last one. And you're like, okay. And then you kind of wander around and you just look and see when they're up. Oh, they're up, I'm next up. So there's not necessarily a ticket system, but the locals know. So it may seem like very confusing, but believe me, all the locals know exactly who's supposed to go when, so do be aware of that, all right? So those are some of my favorite don'ts of visiting Spain. I actually have other videos, 5 love and hates of visiting Spain, little tourist mistakes, that tourists make when they come to Spain, all on our website at woltersworld.com. You also can find us on YouTube. And please, if you haven't subscribed yet, we put out new travel videos every Wednesday and Saturday for destinations all over the world. And please, if you got some don'ts about visiting Spain, please put it down in the comments section below. And for all the people that like to put, don't go there, you're silly when you're talking about Spain, because Spain is amazing. So have a great time, and I'll say bye from here in Cordoba. Don't forget to put Spain on your bucket list. Bye, or hasta luego.